Julie from the Heart of Feather Heart Temple YouTube site, 5/30/2017. One of the hardest things you will ever have to do in life is stand your ground and say no. It seems to me that the more you do it, it's a natural defense mechanism where you're trying to preserve your dignity, or you're trying to preserve your self-respect. It seems to me that there are people who just don't understand those concepts or those ideas. And really, when you run into somebody who's in your vibration of frequency or close to it, they understand boundaries. You don't have to lay boundaries with people who are in those heightened states of awareness. They know where they are, and they won't trespass against them. Because they know when they do that, they will cause irreversible harm to you and your being. So they have they can see multidimensionally, seeing things as if they bring harm to you, they're going to harm people connected to you. So when you harm one, you harm many. But apparently there are people on this planet who don't understand that, nor do they care about that. Those are the people who you lay boundaries with. And what I find absolutely, I don't even know the word, appalling is when you lay boundaries with these people, they see your boundaries as a challenge for them to cross more boundaries to offend you even more. Simply amazing. So, because recently I had someone stealing from me, and I won't go into detail because it's not important, but in order to stop her from doing it, because I was explaining how the theft was done, and no matter how I explained it, and no matter how hard I explained it, no matter which way I explained it, she didn't feel she did anything wrong. Now, there were people who got what I was explaining, and that is what is just so. It's when you have people that understand what you're saying about an offense or a theft on another level that you can't really see, and you have people who understand that, it just sends me happy. and it totally diffuses any kind of stress that you might have towards the stupid idiot or the person who isn't evolved enough to understand it. You can rise above that person and their ignorance. And you have to understand that there are people who will never be able to grasp those higher things. It's never going to happen. And in order to protect yourself from them, you have to remove yourself from their lives to prevent them from doing it again, because when they do it once, they'll do it again and again and again. That has been my experience. But anyways, that I had that on my mind about saying no and making your stand, because the reason you need to do that is self-protection, and it is your defense mechanisms that help you do that. This world, see, I thought that once your natural defense mechanisms were destroyed, you could not regain them. But something's happening in me to the point where my natural defense mechanisms are turning on instantly, and I'm finding myself doing something so natural to defend myself rather than standing there and taking it and then later on wishing I would have done something or created a image of, what do I want to say this, of creating an example for that person that you will not do that to me, you will not trespass, you will not steal from me. But now my natural defense mechanisms are causing me to do things speedily, with quicker response, because a lot of times people would do something, cross a boundary, or would offend me, and then I wouldn't realize it till later on, maybe even weeks or maybe even a month later. I'm like, hey, they just, screwed me over. But now, when it happens, I am picking it up instantaneously, and instantaneously my self-defense mechanisms are doing what they're supposed to do. And it is a beautiful thing, but it starts with you saying a very loud no to abuse, any kind of injustice that's brought about upon you, telling them, no, you're not going to do this to me. And I do it for children too. The whacked out adults in the world who create these things, and I understand where people say they created that for themselves. I see people all the time creating bad situations from this misplaced loyalty. Misplaced loyalties are very dangerous, and they can cause your life complete agony and disruption. I see people doing this all the time. The problems that I have are other people trying to make sure that I don't wake up other people. And they will threaten you, and they will do whatever they can to make sure that they shut your mouth up. But I'm going to speak louder and louder. And to my relatives that might find this video, I've said this before, I will not be abused. I told my mother when I went home after 9 years of separation that the first time I am abused, I have to leave. And by God, it happened, and I left with my feet moving me out the door with a speed that even I was in awe at how quickly my natural defense mechanism kicked in, and I got away from them. And I will never go back again. There's nothing that can take me back there. It's sad, but it's necessary. Anyway, have a beautiful day. A little bit more about me and my life. Have a beautiful day, beautiful people.